Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Universe presented by Grind TV. My name is Meg Twazin Shamai from Summit to Sea Yoga, and today we're in the mountains with Olympic snowboarder Lindsey Jacobellis. Woo! Lindsey is training for winter and is here today to go through some yoga moves that will help her stay strong and healthy for this season. Feel free to ask questions via the comments, and we're going to pick our favorite questions and the giveaways for you guys to win some gear from Grace by Grit right here. All right, so Lindsey, what are you doing to train for your winter season?
Well, training really never ends. It's a year-round process. We might have a little downtime in May, but then we immediately start back up again with building our strength and trying to put as much volume into our workouts as possible. And now that we're in fall, building up close to winter, I'm now getting into a big strength and power phase, trying to move all the muscles and strength that I've built up as quickly as possible. That is very, very strenuous on my body, on my tendons, on my just joints in general. So there's a lot of bounding, jumping, and it's really important for me to use yoga at least once a week to be getting, balance from left to right in my body and just making sure that my, joints are getting some time off and some much needed recovery, because I also do a lot of fun activities always outside. So really making time is really important for my body to recover and giving it the rest I need, as well as the mobility and active, dynamic cool downs, warm-ups that it needs.
Yeah, awesome. And so how do you incorporate yoga into this training? You mentioned once a week.
And when I'm on tour, I definitely use it as a warm-up, whether it's right when I get out of bed, before I head to breakfast, just a quick little maybe 10-15 minute flow, just kind of get everything waking up. And then when I'm up on the mountain, I'll have some of those stretches, but then incorporate it into just high knees and start getting the blood flowing a little bit. So it is a great balance, and it is wonderful for breathing and making yourself aware and present in the moment, because what I've learned through my competition over years and years is making sure you're fully present in the moment, that you're fully aware of the riders around you and what's happening, because when you're not, that's when you're susceptible to injury, and that has happened to me before. So, and it goes along with life as well, being present and aware. So that's, I think, one of the nice things I really enjoy when I finish a really good, successful yoga session, that you always, bring attention to the moment and enjoy that that after yoga feeling you bring into the rest of your day.
Awesome, that's great. So do you have any injuries or areas that you feel are challenging and that may give you might want to give yourself special attention to?
What athlete does not
During your
have
workout?
injuries? Well, I definitely have had major injuries before, and sprains, concussions, just pretty much banging yourself up. But I definitely had ACL surgery in January of 2012 and then in December of 2012. So working through those movements, even child's pose was very challenging, and having to work in that. And obviously now I can be in a kneeling position a lot more comfortable. Sometimes it gets a little tight if I've definitely been working out really hard. Like yesterday was a pretty hard workout, so I had to warm up and get into it, but now it feels good. So it just makes me have to modify and just be aware of what my body is telling me at that time, because I'm a very big competitor, so it's like, well, I can do this pose, and yes, maybe some days I can, and then other days I'm like, what, it's just really not working out for me today, so maybe do some sort of modification or hang out in child's pose.
Yeah.
So it really is what you kind of just need in your day.
Yeah, you're listening. That's great. All right, so we're going to go through a yoga routine that Lindsey and all of you athletes watching can use as more of a recovery type of flow after tough workouts. So let's go and get started. You'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana, so laying on your back. Feet to touch, knees butterfly out. Good. Nice. So arms can extend out nice and wide. I'll move these blocks. If you have blocks and props, it's really great to have just to be handy, just in case you need to use for support. So just laying here will allow Lindsey to open up through her chest and her shoulders. Her feet can either be closer in toward her pelvis or a little further away, just depending on what type of stretch she would like for her inner groins, her hamstrings. And this is also awakening up the low back as well. So she can close her eyes and start to awaken in her breath. So a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then once you feel this connection to your body and this awareness of breath, now start to welcome in your Ujjayi breathing. So the breath of yoga. So you breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose, creating this gentle and quiet rhythm and this warming breath that almost settles in the back of your throat. So this is where you and Lindsey can start to welcome in this present state of mind, so that all of her physical attention, the awareness into her mental practice, spiritual practice, physical practice especially, is just all right into this place. You can even set some visualizations of the day, setting the tone, maybe choosing an intention or a mantra, something that you would like to achieve for your practice today. And simply by listening, this is the time to check in. And so after about 10 to 20 breaths, getting into this rhythm, I also like to use some essential oils to invigorate the awareness of breath body. It's also great for muscles and tight muscles, achy muscles, so she can just take some deep breaths in. Really great to clear out sinuses, congestion. All right, so when you're ready, go ahead and grab or draw the palms into the knees, outer knees. Hug the knees in toward your chest. And just cup your palms over your kneecaps and start to take butterfly circles, drawing the knees outward in separate directions and then forwards, sort of like you're rowing a boat, yeah. The big toes can touch. Yeah, and then just allow your hips to almost rock front to back. Draw the knees in and out. This is a really great warm-up posture to awaken through your hips. Groins again, and then just switch directions, so knees outward and then forward and in. Good. And then go ahead and hug the knees in, roll to one side into supported fetal position. Rise to tabletop. Stack your shoulders over wrists, hips over your knees, and just anchor the tops of your feet down so that her ankles get a nice stretch. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Good, and as you breathe in, dip your belly, allow your heart to tug forward and through for cow pose. Dipping your tailbone upward, your lower core down. And then round and hollow as you draw your chin inward. Really grounding through your fingertips, tucking through the tailbone now and anchoring through the tops of your feet so her ankles get a nice stretch. And then just take about 3 more. Breathing in, dipping the belly, and then rounding and hollowing out as you exhale. So this flexion and extension to awaken through her low back and her core, even her glutes. Couple more, breathing in. This time your neck can stay neutral. Just draw the collarbones back, nice. And then round and hollow. Good. And then find your center now. Curl the toes and just draw big circles way over to one side. Hips can graze your heels. Like way over, yeah. And then just go way down toward your heels so that your toes get a nice stretch for her strong feet and ankles. Yep. And then way over to the other side. Again, really great postures to awaken through her hips. Keeping them really balanced, especially in her asymmetrical sport. She wants to have healthy, balanced, and grounded hips, feet. All right, find your center. And then walk the knees back a couple inches. Hover the knees and the shins a couple inches up and off, and just connect to your arms. Start to lift your tailbone up toward the sky. Feel your biceps roll away from your ears. Good. Lengthen through the tailbone, press back. This is crouching cat, so it's a modification of downward dog. She can actually walk the feet forward a couple inches, about 5 inches. So it's a shorter, more narrow downward dog, but it's actually wider feet. Feet are almost at mats with distance. Good. Feel the tailbone lift up towards the sky. It's almost like she's reaching the lower ribs towards her upper inner thighs. Good. The palms are rooted down. It's like saran wrap is wrapped around her entire torso and her rib cage. So this loosens up a lot of the strain and the flexion that downward dog with straight legs can do. So lots of the glutes are released in the low back. It's released in the forward, so it's not pulling as tight. So yeah, a couple breaths here. Nice. All right, and then just take your time, walk your feet behind the wrists for a ragdoll pose. Nice, deep knee bends. Good. Toes spread wide, and you can nestle the pinky fingers in the elbow creases and just sway a little bit from side to side. So with any flexion in the low back, whether it's chair pose, whether you're, hiking, running, biking, this can actually strain and pull in lots of the lumbar spine. So with knees bent more than you normally would, this can actually just awaken it a little bit more. It releases in the front, so it's not pulling as much, getting that maybe a side joint strain. Okay, and then release your left palm down underneath your face. You can also place it on the block, or a can of soup is nice. Bend into your left knee and extend your right arm up toward the sky. Nice. So really charge through this whole right side. Good. Awakening the IT band, bending in the left, tucking through the left rib, so it's a gentle twist. Now you can rotate your wrist one direction. Good. And the other. Now just stretch your arm forward, reach for the mountains, and then just tug the shoulder back like you're taking this front swim stroke. Good. Awakening the side body. And then exhale, release, switch sides. Bend into the right. Extend through the left arm up. Good. Try to lengthen your whole spine forward from the crown down through the tailbone, like you're leaning back again, all the way from the upper glutes down to the pinky toe. You can feel this really nice stretch in her upper glutes, down through the IT band. All right, rotate the wrist one direction and the other. Now stretch your arm forward like that streamlined arm. Tug the shoulder back, rhomboids back. Nice. And exhale, release. Place your palms to your hips, knees bend. Lead with your crown of your head, rise, come all the way up. Nice. Stretch your arms up and overhead to Tadasana, pulling the lower ribs in, and then interlace your fingers with a steeple mudra. The index fingers release. And then soften the shoulders down. Just find the grounding in your feet, like your quads are lifted up and off from the knee joint. Pull the lower ribs in. And then reach up and over to your right, gentle half moon. So she balances her hips a little more. Try to continue to create length through this whole left side. From our psoas, even the shoulders get a nice stretch. Lift your chin just a little bit, keeping there's the equal space from the biceps to the ears. Finding foundation in her feet again with that asymmetrical support. Ground, come back to center, grow tall, and exhale up and over to your left. Again, that equal space from ears to biceps. Your throat opens just a little bit, and then feeling the weight spread evenly and equally. And then ground, come back to center. Good. And then bend into your elbows, just lift up through your chest and your heart, just a gentle heart opener. Yeah, like lean back, like cactus arms almost. There you go, nice. But the head and neck can stay neutral. Good, now come back to center, arms up and over. And then fold forward, knees can bend as you bow down. Palms can either go out or through your heart center. Nice. Good, palms to shins, create a halfway lift. Knees can bend even here just to, again, protect the low back so it's not pulling. And then squat and curl into a tiny little ball. Lift your heels, curl the chin in toward your chest, giving her toes and the calves and Achilles even that nice stretch. And then this nice length through the whole backside. Nice. All right, so go ahead and lift your hips up toward the sky and just step back to plank pose. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Good, and then just feel the back of your heart plug through your fingertips. Lower down to the knees, tabletop spine. Good, again, cow pose one time, heart forward. Neck and chin stays neutral, and then round and hollow as you exhale. Good. Neutral spine, and then step your right foot forward toward in between your palms. Dip the hips back for half splits. You can curl the back toes under, but try to keep this hip stacked over the knee. So you might shimmy the front heel forward just a little bit so that this hip stacks over the knee. Nice. Now lengthen your sternum forward. And again, if you'd like to use the blocks or cans of soup, they're there for you in case. Nice. And then just feel the whole hip tug back and the heart lengthen forward. So again, welcoming in that stretch through hamstrings, hips. Now lengthen your heart forward, left palm down or on the block, just underneath your shoulder, right arm lengthens towards the sky. We'll switch your arms. Yes, yeah. Good. Now as you plug this or tug this hip back, yeah, continue to now turn the top toes, front toes toward the right side. Good, IT band. Nice, and then opening through the chest as well. Lindsey does multiple sports, so even in her surfing, this is really great to open her shoulders as well. And then slowly release, low lunge, runner's lunge. So palms come to the inside of her front foot to hold the front foot up and to the right. Nice, so a little bit further so that the knee does not drape in front of the ankle. And instead of letting the hips kind of come completely relaxed and heavy, lift the hips just a smidge higher. Yep, and then the back knee can either stay down or you can bend the knee. So you're on the very edge of your quad, pulling the knee in, and then just allowing, almost there actually, and then allowing the back knee to come forward. So both arms can come down first, just a couple breaths here. But yeah, it's almost like you're tugging your heart forward and your hips lift. Yeah, exactly. And if you want, you can lower to the block or some pillows if you're there. But it's like you're scissor slicing the mat right down the middle. So this front foot pulls back, this back knee can energize forward. So whether you keep the knee down or bend the knee and just kind of like tack it forward, feel the traction. Even your forearms can get involved, so you're tugging your heart forward. So this is really great for the hip flexors, the quads, psoas, also really great for her hips. But in Lindsey's sport, because she needs that dynamic movement and that power, the power movements, instead of getting too flexible, especially right here and in the hips, she wants to keep the tendons, the joints really strong and lengthened without getting too bendy. All right, so now we'll take the quad stretch. So left palm down, right arm up and over for the back toes. And you can place left palm on the quad or on the block if you'd like. Good. And also this is a really great chest and shoulder opener. So she can tuck through the left ribs, start to lean the heart back a little bit, and then guide the heel and the hip to greet each other about halfway. And again, instead of the hips completely dipping forward, it's a little more energized. Couple more breaths. Good. Slowly release the back toes. Low lunge. Back knee lifts. Root your palms down. And then stack your shoulders right over your wrists. Good. Curl the back toes under. Lift the back knee up and off and just step to plank pose. So always connecting to her front body and her core. Her powerhouse for her movements are all based on her hips. Good. And then lower to the knees. One time cow pose. Dip your belly. Heart pulls forward. Again, really great to release and low back. Exhale, round and hollow. Nice. Neutral spine. Let's switch sides. So the left foot steps in front or up towards the top. Good. So half splits first. Shimmy the hips back. So this right hip stacks over the knee, half split. So straighten out the front left leg. Yes, yeah. And you can again use your props, blocks if you'd like. Flex through the front foot, tug the sternum forward. And so Lindsey's so in tune with her body, she can feel just a little bit of like a difference in just turning of her front toes to feel a different stretch in her hamstrings, right? In the inner thighs. And then if she needs more stability in the back leg, back toes can even curl under. Nice. So lengthen chest upward, right palm underneath your shoulder or on the block. Good. Left arm up toward the sky. Nice. And then as you tuck through the right ribs, again, the shoulder and the chest opens up. Now steer the front toes out toward the left. And then again, continue to pull this left hip back. She'll feel this now in through her IT band.
I feel it in glute med.
In your glute med, yes. And breathe. Nice. And then slowly release. So runner's lunge, crawl forward, both palms to the inside of your front foot. Nice. So again, instead of letting the hips completely dip down, we're making it a little bit more of that active runner's lunge. So the hips lift just a little bit. Again, there's that tug of the back hip pulling back and the right thigh pulling forward. You can lower to the blocks, elbows, forearms, and even get your upper body kind of in that alignment to feel that traction. And your back knee can even bend, so you're on the very edge of your quad.
I got it on this side, maybe.
Yeah, good. And what's great, when you have different injuries, it's really great to just listen to your body and cater your body to each side. You might have to modify one side, according to the other. All right, so let's go ahead and rise back up to the palms. We'll take the quad stretch. So right palm on the block, left arm up and over to capture the back toes. Good. And then greet the heel on the hip about halfway again. So the hip lifts just a little bit, and then you're guiding the heel to the outer right side of the hip, starting to tuck through the ribs, opening through the chest. Nice. And slowly release. Low lunge. Back knee lifts. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. So the back toes root down. And then lift the hips up nice and high. Good. You'll step back eventually to high plank pose. Shoulders stack. And just that couple breaths there again, staying in tune to the core. And then lower to the knees, tabletop last time. Heart dips forward, breathe in, neck is neutral, and then round and hollow out as you exhale. Good, neutral spine, curl the toes last time, draw big hip circles way over to one side. Nice and slowly. And way over to the other. Good. And then go ahead and just step all the way through, come to a seat. You can even cross your ankles. Good. Flip the palms to the sky, lift up through the chest, legs extend forward. And slowly come on down to your back. Nice. All right, so hug both knees in toward your heart. And then just take those butterfly circles again. Toes in, knees out. Let the hips rock from front to back. And then root your right foot down. Cross your left ankle over your right. Figure four legs. Flex through your left foot. Yeah, and then thread your palms through, either underneath the hamstring or on top of the shin. Yeah. Now try to seal your shoulder blades down. Tuck your chin so the back of your neck is long. And encourage your tailbone to come forward. Encourage the knee to come forward, so each side of your body, listen to, your knees and such. But finding that little bit of natural curve is actually really beneficial for you to maintain this like glute med connection and activation. As you energize the knee forward, a lot going on, especially in your sports. Hips are like, again, the powerhouse for the power in your body, your balance, your speed, your reaction. Good. All right, and then let's just switch sides. You can hug the knees in to neutralize. Yep. And then switch. Good. Flex through this foot so her knee is safe. And as you just said into it, you know, gravity does a lot of the work, so she can just almost feel the shoulder blades root down. The tailbone draws forward. And then she'll encourage this time the right knee to come forward, tailbone to root down. And then always tuning back into the breath. So in the slower postures, it's really great to find that focus. It's like this present mental flow that she can find this state in, I'm sure, when she's competing, focusing, playing. It's that good feeling when you know you're on point and you're in your groove. Good, and then slowly release, hug the knees back in. And you can take those butterflies one last time. And then let's go ahead and roll to one side. Yes. And if you want to sit on a block here, I'll sit next to you on the, okay, you can go there, great. And we'll just finish with some breathing. So you can either sit cross-legged or, yep, knees to touch.
This is actually more comfortable on my knee.
Perfect.
Now.
Oh, good.
The Indian style has always been a little challenging.
Cross-legged. Okay, good, yeah. So again, you want this little bit of tilt, a natural curve, connection to your front body. And go ahead and just close your eyes and place your palms face down or up. And we'll just finalize with a couple of breathing exercises. And again, this tunes back into the closing of her practice, this idea of being really focused and present. And so with your eyes closed, take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. And then a slow inhale for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Through the mouth softly exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, hold at the bottom for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale through the mouth softly for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Last one. Inhale slowly for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. Last one for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Nice. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Deep breath in. And palms to heart. And honoring your practice wherever you are in your path, your beautiful body and your minds, and this continued focus and practice. Love and light. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was so good.
Good. All right, so we have a couple questions from Facebook Live. Let's see. So from Shivani, I hope I pronounced it correctly. How many times per week do you weightlift?
Right now in the phase I'm in, I'm lifting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm doing all body. I'm doing, pecs, lats, I'm doing quads, hamstrings a lot, especially because I've had injury with my knee. We want everything to be working as a unit to make sure everything's firing properly. That's one of the things that happens when you get injured. Your brain tells you, no, there's a problem here. We're not going to turn on this muscle. When in therapy, all we do is retrain and program the muscle. So even now when I'm weightlifting, my coach is constantly telling me, engaging your glutes, engaging your hamstrings, and making sure everything's working together, because naturally your strongest muscle or area wants to take over. That's when you get imbalances, and that's why it's really good to be doing yoga for myself at the end of the week to really feel what muscle was working maybe too hard that I have to stretch, or those little imbalances. So there's a lot of great things that come from all sorts of training.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so from Sierra, are there any poses you do right before riding?
Right before riding, I tend to really be present with my dynamic warm-ups and trying to sprint in place and really get my blood flowing. So some of those poses are a little bit more relaxing and I want to fire myself up. But the one thing that is huge is my breathing.
Nice.
You could be very nervous and you have erratic breathing, or it's just not consistent. But if you're at the top of the course or I'm right in the gate, it's like really focusing in, making sure all of my muscles are getting that shock of oxygen that they need, then tighten everything up, and the gate drops. So
There you
breathing is a huge part in my practice with anything.
Yeah, that's great.
It sounds so simple and sounds almost silly, but it's huge.
Yeah.
Helps you go to sleep. I was so relaxed at the end when you were coaching me through that breath, and it made me want to melt, but also be extended and very tall. So it was very grounding, and it was just very neutral and present, which was very nice.
Nice, that's good. Yep, the breath, it's so powerful. All right, from Barack, which body part do you not work flexible? Sorry, little small writing. Which body part do you not want flexible so that you can prevent
injuries.
Whoa, sorry about that.
Well, as you were saying that my hips, it's very nice that you noticed that my hips are the powerhouse with lifting with anything. I don't think it's not important to make sure you're overly flexible and can do every pose and, the dancer pose and have the most like strength throughout the entire pose. It's more so about the balance and what your body needs. And sometimes I can feel, if I haven't been lifting in a while, that wow, I'm feeling really, really flexible. But then there's always a counter muscle. So my hamstrings are feeling very, very flexible. So then maybe my quads are very tight. So then again, it's really what your body requires, and I can't really specifically say for an individual. I just know me, I know my body.
Yep.
But I try to not make my hips too flexible and my pecs too flexible, because I want quick reaction times with my starts, and I want everything that my feet in my snowboard boots are doing, that my knees are going to do, translate to my hips, and then it becomes a full body transition. I hope that answered your question. It was a little bit of a tangent. I was trying to figure out how to really make that happen, but that was a great question.
Yeah, it was. All right, from Chris, where is Lindsey snowboarding this winter?
Well, in the wintertime, I tend to be a little bit of a gypsy, and I travel from event to event, and I'm following the World Cup circuit. We have a lot of events in Europe, and I will be going to France this year, which I've never been, and Bulgaria is hosting their first World Cup. which is very exciting. So that will be a fun new experience, because a lot of the times we will travel on the same circuit, go to the same events, and they do a great job, and they get better and better every year because they get familiar with the event being there, know how to cater to the athletes and the fans that are watching. So it's always nice to start a relationship with a new mountain.
Yeah, fresh. And when is that?
Haven't really downloaded the schedule yet.
Okay,
Obviously, we have to wait for the snow to fall for everything to
Right.
really be cemented into place.
Yes.
But we have kind of a general layout, which is how I really go through life with my goals and everything. Have everything kind of out there and wanting,
Horizon.
Exactly. But there's no definitive route for how
Okay.
it's going to
We'll keep
happen.
our eyes posted. Nice. Okay, and from Kat, what are your favorite workouts for leg strengthening in particular?
I really like deadlifts. It's really incorporating the hamstrings, and I like the glute ham developer, where you're on that machine where you're kind of like rolled over and you're lifting up your legs. So then it really engages
Okay,
your
like this one?
booty. Yeah, where you're kind of laying over, and you can even do it on a medicine ball, and then you're also incorporating, your lower back as well. So it's really becoming a full posterior train, strengthening and everything working together. But definitely keeping my glute muscles all strong has been helping me keep my hamstrings strong, and then protecting my knee, which is, these got to hang on a little bit longer. So we try to take as best care if we can.
Yes. And from Johnny, do you ever play soccer to train? And what other sports do you do?
I never got into soccer because it always conflicted with my building into the fall winter season. I went to Stratton Mountain School in Vermont, and they had soccer, but I didn't want it to interfere with my workouts that were in the morning and after school, and I also wanted to take that little risk of potential injury out, because a lot of girls were hurting their knees at school, and it was that moment where I stepped back and I was like, this is not really what I'm here for. I made a decision that I wanted to really pursue snowboarding and see how far this would take me. So having to take out a few unnecessary risks in my life has happened before, and it makes me miss out on a few things, but doesn't mean you can never circle back around to them. But in the springtime, when my season was over, I got into playing lacrosse in high school, and that was really fun. I grew up swimming and playing field hockey and baseball, and my parents put me into a lot of sports. And then when coming out to sunny California, where it never rains and you can be outside every day and play, it's pretty amazing.
And you surf now?
I do surf. Ever since I moved out here, I've been in the water a lot, especially these last 2 years, and really trying to up my game and playing around with different board shapes and volumes and really seeing what my body needs.
Yep.
And it's been making it an extremely fun process, and meeting a bunch of fun people out in the water and their stories, and really can connect with people.
That's great. I think it's really good that you point on your body type. I mean, you as your athletic being and body type, we all have to learn from our bodies. So it's good to have a guide, and then you always come back to what you need. Yeah, awesome. Well, also just beyond and for the restoring recovery yoga practice, Summit to Sea is heading off to Hawaii. So I'd love to give you a personal invite before your adventures across the seas for winter time. We're going to the Big Island November 5th through the 9th. If you're interested, check out Summit to Sea Yoga. And thank you so much for joining Yoga Universe. Thank you, Lindsey.
Thank you.
You can watch this workout and all of our workouts on Grind TV. Or at YouTube, on the YouTube page as well. So we'll see you next week at 9 a.m. Thank you. Bye.